of this lesson is 11 steps to air riflery success. What we're gonna learn is how to be safe while we're target shooting, how to keep that rifle pointed in a safe direction. We're gonna learn the proper form and the proper 11 steps for successful air riflery. And once you master these 11 steps of shooting success, this will lead into a lifetime of shooting sports enjoyment. So as we get ready to start our shooting success, we need to follow some safety rules always. So first of all, we always want to make sure that we have a safe range and a safe downrange. We always want to make sure we check what's in front of and beyond our target. Anytime we're getting ready to shoot, we always want to make sure that we have our safety glasses on. Anytime you're on the range, we always are wearing our safety glasses. We always want to make sure we do a safety check of our air rifles. We want to make sure they're functioning properly, and we notice that they're in the open and safe position in the racks. We always want to make sure we have a safe rifle before we get ready to do our 11 steps of shooting success. We need to make sure that we understand what the whistle commands are. When you hear a whistle command of 5 or more blasts sounding like this, that means to cease fire. Break your rifle in the rifle-ready position, keeping your finger off the trigger and muzzles pointed up. So as a reminder, anytime we're getting ready to shoot, we always want to make sure that we cover our 4 safety rules. Could I get a volunteer to read rule number 1?
Always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction.
Excellent. You always want to make sure we know where the muzzle end of our rifle is. Rule number 2, please.
Always keep your finger outside the trigger guard until ready to shoot.
Thank you. Rule number 3.
Always positively identify your target. Check both in front and behind for safety.
And number 4.
Always keep your safety on until ready to shoot.
Excellent. We always want to make sure that these 4 safety rules are followed every time we are getting ready to shoot. So next, I'm going to demonstrate what those whistle commands are as we go through our 11 steps of air riflery success. So I'm going to go back behind the waiting line, and you're going to watch the demonstration as I move forward with the whistle commands. The first one you're going to hear is 2 whistle blasts, which means get rifle. You'll walk to the rifle rack, pick up your air rifle, keeping your muzzle in a safe direction and your finger off of the trigger, and you'll walk up to the shooting line, keeping both feet behind the shooting line. Once everyone is on the shooting line, the next thing you're going to be listening for is the 1 whistle command that signifies shoot, and that'll sound like this. Once you hear the whistle command to shoot, at that point you can start working through your 11 steps. The first step is going to be your position. Your position is going to be a comfortable position where you are balanced and you're aligned with your target, again, keeping your muzzle pointed in a safe direction. While you're getting into your position, you want to still maintain your rifle in the rifle-ready position. You want to make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart, that you are standing 90-degree angle to your target, and this is very similar to how you are standing when you're shooting a bow. The next step is to charge the rifle. Because we are doing a demonstration, we are going to demonstrate how you put your rifle on your thigh closest to the target so you always have control of your rifle. You're going to hold the barrel just below the front sight, and as you slowly bring it down, you will hear a click, and at that point, you will be able to load your pellet into the barrel. You always want to maintain pressure on the barrel when you have it in the broken position. With the rifle still pointed in a safe direction, our next step is to load. So we will pick up the pellet. For demonstration purposes, we're going to pretend we have a pellet. The flat head of the pellet is going to be loaded into the barrel, and we want to always make sure that we keep the barrel level with the target. So the transition is going to be barrel closed, and it's going to be transitioning into the next step, which is shouldering the rifle. This is simply bringing the rifle up to your shoulder pocket and getting it up to your cheek and resting your cheek on the stock like this. While still maintaining your safe direction and your finger off the trigger, Our next step is rifle handset. There are several different rifle handsets that we'll discuss, but to start, we'll go with the one that's most comfortable for you. This is a fist, and I will place it under my stock to balance my rifle. You want to create a pocket for your elbow to fit into and bend slightly at the hip, again, keeping proper muzzle direction in alignment with your target. Once you have your rifle handset, it's going to look something like this. The next step is to release safety. For demonstration purposes, we're going to leave the safety on, but in the future, when we are going to do our shooting, we simply push the safety forward with our thumb. The next step is trigger hand set. You want to keep a firm hold of the grip, and you always want to keep your finger off the trigger, placed alongside of the stock until you're ready for the following step. Step number 8 is aiming. This is also called sight picture. So I'm going to do a demonstration that's going to be crystal clear what this looks like after we complete these 11 steps. But when you aim, you want to put your front sight and your rear sight in proper sight alignment on your target. Step number 9 is the very first time that we actually are moving our finger out of the trigger guard and we're moving it to touch the trigger because we're getting ready to shoot. So step number 9 is your shot setup. You want to take a deep breath and you'll exhale part way or until your natural pause, holding the rifle as still as you possibly can. If you hold the rifle too long and you hold your breath too long, you may notice you'll get some movement. If that happens, start over. Take another deep breath, exhale part way or to your natural pause before you squeeze the trigger. Again, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to pretend like I'm squeezing the trigger to fire the shot. This is step number 10, shoot. So your final step is step 11, and that is your follow through, reflect, and make safe. Follow through is making sure you stay on your target. Your next step is reflect. While staying on your target, thinking about your shot you just completed. You want to make sure that you did everything correctly, you went through all of your 11 steps, and you're taking that moment to think about what you just did and what went well. Your final step is to make safe. To make your rifle safe, the first thing you'll do is to break your barrel, and you will put your rifle back on safety and keep it in the rifle ready position, ready for your next shot. Now that you've seen the 11 steps of air riflery success, next you're going to call out each of the steps and watch me demonstrate those steps for you. Okay? What is the very first step?
Step 1, position.
Step 2, charge rifle.
Step 3, load.
Step 4, shoulder rifle.
Step 5, rifle hand set.
Step 6, release safety.
Step 7, trigger hand set.
Step 8, aim, sight picture.
Step 9, shot setup.
10, shoot. Squeeze the trigger.
11, follow through, reflect, and make safe.
When we finish shooting, the next thing you're going to do is listen for the command to return the rifle to the rack. That means 2 whistle blows that sound like this. You'll walk, return the rifle, and walk behind the waiting line. The next thing I'm going to show you is a better way to get a visual on how to aim your rifle. So to demonstrate sight alignment and sight picture, this represents your rear sight of your rifle. This represents the front sight of your rifle. Looking down your rifle barrel, you want to make sure your sight alignment is all put together. Your front sight is lined up into your rear sight, and you want to make sure that you have equal height across your rear sight and your front post, and your equal light shining in between. Equal height, equal light to make sure your sight alignment is proper. When you put that in relation to your target, looks like this. You'll notice that the center of your target sits perfectly right on top of your post for your front sight. This is called your sight picture. Next, I want to go into a little bit more detail about your different options for step 5, which is your rifle handset. So I'm going to pick up a rifle and go to the shooting line. And once we're in position, we're going to pretend that we have gone through the first 4 steps. The next step is our rifle handset. So the first option is to have an open palm, like this. The second option is to do a cradle. Fist. The third option is to do a fist. The fourth option is an open fist, looks like this. The fifth position is the thumb split cradle, and you'll notice that the rifle is in the highest position to affect your point of aim. Next, I'm going to call out the commands, and you're going to demonstrate each of the steps following the 11 steps to air riflery success. Remember, only move when you hear the whistle commands. So the first whistle command you're going to hear is to blast, and that stands for get rifle. The great thing about this program, left eye dominant or right eye dominant shooters can stand anywhere on the line. You always want to make sure that both feet are on this side of the shooting line. Excellent. The next whistle blast you're going to hear is one blast, and that means shoot. After you hear the whistle command, I'm going to call out each of the 11 steps, and I want you to demonstrate what each of those steps are. Step number 1 is position. Step number 2, charge rifle. You always want to make sure the rifle is on your hip closest to the target, on your thigh closest to the target. Step number 3, load. Pretend to put a pellet in the rifle. Step number 4, shoulder rifle. Step number 5, rifle handset. You want to find the handset position that's most comfortable for you. Step number 6, release safety. We're going to pretend to take off the safety. Step number 7, trigger handset. Always keeping your finger off of the trigger. Step number 8, aim, and that is to acquire your sight picture. Step number 9, shot setup. Step number 10 is shoot by squeezing the trigger. Step number 11, follow through, reflect, and make safe. Coming back to the rifle ready position. The next command again is 2 whistle blasts, which mean to put your rifle back in the rack and go behind the waiting line. Any questions? Great job.